introduce myself, you have to have self-confidence. I am the best lawyer in the country, best criminal defense lawyer in the country right now. But I gained 69,000 votes in the West Midlands mayoral election as an independent candidate. So I gained it at the back of being Akhmed Yakoob, not being with a political party. I was against every single political party. People have said, yes, I shot the guy, but that still doesn't amount to murder, does it? It's the prosecution what are bringing the case. The prosecution bring the case. The prosecution have charged you for murder, for example. It's up to the prosecution to prove that case against you. That's how the UK judicial system works.
Welcome back, guys. We have got another episode for you today. We've got a special guest who has travelled a long way to be here. So, Ahmed, thank you very much. If you just want to introduce yourself really quickly.
Thank you for having me. My name is Akhmed Yakoob. I'm a criminal defense lawyer. I am, even though it's a title I've given myself, some people have given it as well, but it's myself. You have to have self-confidence. I am the best lawyer in the country, best criminal defense lawyer in the country right now. I recently got involved in politics as well, and I would like to say I shook up the political system. I did something that's never been done before. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I gained 69,000 votes in the West Midlands mayoral election as an independent candidate. So I gained it at the back of being Akhmed Yakoob, not being with a political party. I was against every single political party. I still am, because of what they're doing to people who are poor. Right now, our government has money for wars, but they can't feed the poor. It's a saying that Tupac said about over 25, 30 years ago, but it makes sense right now. You can see what's happening. So that's why I leaped into politics. But my law career and my law practice is still very much ongoing, and it's very successful. We are at Maurice Andrews Solicitors, one of the busiest firms in the whole of UK right now. So it's good. God's been good to us.
Just to throw it back a little bit, like, how did you first get into becoming a lawyer? What were the steps you had to take to?
In terms of education,
yeah.
Education-wise, I had to go to university for 3 years, and then I had to do my legal practice course. Then I worked under someone for 2 years, and then I worked at Maurice Andrews Solicitors. So my journey was not a smooth journey, and not a journey that an orthodox journey like your normal person. I got into uni. It was a favour from a lecturer at the time, because I didn't do very well in college. So the lecturer gave me a chance. God bless him. Stu Williams, his name is, at Wolverhampton University. So he gave me a chance. He had to give me a chance. So I went to him after I had received my grades for my A-levels, which weren't that good. So I wanted to get onto a foundation degree for law at the time. So they rejected me. Somebody put me in touch with Stuart. I went to see Stuart, and Stuart said to me, I will give you an exam. If you pass that exam, then I'll let you in onto the foundation degree. I said, no problem, let me know when the exam is and I'll be back. Stuart says the exam is now, you have to do it now. So I said, okay, no problem. See, law is a lot about opinions. Sometimes it's not what's right, what's wrong. It's what opinion you have. And in a criminal law, I always say is there's a couple of versions of the evidence. One is the prosecution version, and one is the defense version. And the jury have to decide what version is better, you know. So I did that exam at that time, and he gave me like 45 minutes. I did it in about 30 minutes. He came back and he marked the exam, and after the exam he said to me, Mr. Yakoob, I don't think you'll be able to do the foundation degree. I said, why? Have I done that bad? He said, no, you've done pretty well, and I'll feel bad putting you onto the foundation degree, so I'm going to put you on to the actual degree. Foundation degree is a extra year before the proper degree. So he put me onto the LLB degree, and he says, don't let me down, make sure. And I never let him down. And that's how my journey started.
So just all from there, all from that one guy is.
One guy
gave
did
you
me a
that
favor,
chance.
and I wanted to do law because a number of events took place during that period of my life. Someone who I know very closely, is a very good friend of mine till this day, got involved in a case. It was an attempted murder case. He ended up doing a long time in prison. He's out now. He did 9 years inside, and I felt that he was misrepresented. If he had been represented properly, then the outcome would have been different. So that was a bit of a motivation for me in terms of events that took place during that period. Something else where a person who I know got involved in a crime, and the legal team at the time took a large sum of money off them, and I thought to myself, wow, if that man can take that much money out of that family for this case, I can do 10 times better than them. So that was motivation as well. And then I went into Morris Andrews Solicitors and offered my services to Morris back in 2014. I'm still in touch with Morris. He's like my mentor. He is my mentor. He's a lovely guy. Talks like Morgan Freeman. Looks like him as well. And so when I went to Morris to ask for a job, I was a qualified solicitor at the time, and I said to Morris, I want a job. Morris said, no, Mr. Yakoob, I'm winding down. I don't want any employees. I'm getting rid of the ones that I've got already. So I said, let me tell you something, Morris. I introduced myself properly. I said, look, I don't want money from you. I want to learn, teach me. He was quite shocked because he said, you're a qualified solicitor. How are you going to manage yourself? I said, I'll try to bring you work. And if I bring you work, then give me something out of it. Give me commission. Give me something out of it. I'll survive. That's how it started. And I'm a strong believer that God puts people in your path for a reason. And God put me in Morris's path and Morris in my path for a reason. So I worked under Morris for a bit as a consultant. And after that, I had words with him about taking the practice over, and then we took it over, and then we just went from strength to strength. We grew the practice from, almost about, in the first year, it went from, I could say we grew it about 300-400% in the first year, and now I can't even calculate, Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah basically means everything comes from Allah, and we have to praise the Lord in everything we do. And God's been good to me. That's all I can say, really. God's been very good to me. I don't deserve it.
So when you were working independently and getting clients, was there any because that's obviously your start of your journey, really, becoming a lawyer. Was there any moments where you're like, I'm taking on a case here that I might be out of my depth, or you were ready to just learn and
See, I was scared to take on certain cases because I didn't want to disappoint certain people. I've got a very good network of people, and that's why I've got this far in life, and that's why I'm going to go further with the help of the Lord. But what it is at first when you're young, you do be scared because you don't want to disappoint someone. But when I'm taking on a case, for example, if I take on a murder case, the guy's looking at never seeing daylight again. It's not a joke, it's not a joke. So at first I was reluctant, but then I thought to myself, if I'm not going to do it now, then when? You have to learn. I learned on the job. That's why when I teach my staff, I throw them straight into the deep end. I never learned much when I was working at my previous place. I don't want to go into that because I'm okay with the guy now, but I had my ups and downs at that place, and I never learned much. So when I got to Morris, the first case I did was I went into the office. Um, my first meeting with Morris was on a Thursday, I think. So I said to him, okay, Monday I'll come and work. So when I got there on a Monday, Morris gave me a file and he said, go to court and do a trial. I've never gone to court, don't know what trial is about. It's a magistrate's court. I went there and I didn't know what to do, I'll be honest with you. So I met another lawyer and she talked me through how a trial takes place. So, I sat there for half an hour, read the file, and I went inside and I won the case. And I thought to myself, so what was all this fuss about? What I used to, all the grief that I used to receive from my ex-boss. I mean, that you have to do this, that you have to do this. I mean, this is quite easy. So then I started doing a few trials and I won. I kept winning. And I thought to myself, I'm good at this, And we just took off. It just took off from there. I made a deal with Morris about the firm. I wanted the firm. Morris trusted me with his name. God bless him. He still does. A few incidents took place, which I still remember. At first, obviously, me and Morris were negotiating. At one point, Morris sat me down and he said, do you know why I'm giving you my name and my business that I built up over the last 30 years? I said, tell me. He said, you're an honest man, Mr. Yakoob. I said, what are you saying that for? He mentioned an incident that took place a few days prior to that, where I give Morris, I think it was about £100. I give him £100 and he said, what's this for, Mr. Yakoob? I said, I did some work. Somebody came in. I did a statement for someone and they gave me this. And I give it to him. And he said, you're an honest man, Mr. Yakoob. I go, why are you saying that for? This is your money. It's not my money. I don't, I'm not on a salary or I'm not on a commission. I'm on a commission if I bring my own work. So this is your money, not mine. And he said, you'll realize when you have employees yourself that not everyone will be so transparent with you. And I did realize, once I started working, once I took the place over and, a lot of people came into my life, a lot of people left, a lot of people learned certain skills off me, but they never really appreciated it. A lot of people went against me. So I did realize in the end what Morris was talking about, but Morris trusted me. The moral of the story, Morris trusted me with his name that has built up over years, and I've just taken it from strength to strength now. So when I see Morris now, he's very happy from me, and we've got a very good relationship.
So what's your point of view? Obviously, the nature of your work, being a criminal defense lawyer, a lot of people frown upon it because of, obviously some things that the people may do or may not do. Is there some sort of criteria that these people have to hit for you to be able to bring a case on? Or would you say you just take anyone who, let's say, needs a defense lawyer?
See, everyone hates a defense lawyer till they need one. Let's get it straight. If your family member was in trouble, I'll probably be the first person you call. But when people see me on the internet, they think that I've got a drug dealer off, for example, or I've got a murderer off. They don't even know what the truth behind the whole story is. And if somebody gets off in a courtroom and they get found not guilty, they've gone through this country's law, they've gone through court proceedings, they've gone through all the procedures. They haven't got off or been found not guilty just because I'm representing them. And that may be the fate that God chose for them anyway. This is what people don't realize. God chooses what happens to people. I'm simply someone that helps along the way. So if somebody gets found not guilty, that's not by my choice. A jury has found them not guilty, and God has put it in the jury's minds, and God has put it in the jury's hearts to find them people not guilty. Maybe it's written for them to have freedom. Some innocent people go down. I've seen that happen. It's not written for them to have freedom. It's written for them to have 20 years behind bars. maybe they would have come across a bigger calamity if they were on the outside. So life's funny sometimes. It works funny. It's not fair, and some innocent people go down. There's a famous saying from a French philosopher, Voltaire. It is better to risk saving a guilty man than to condemn an innocent one. So if somebody's innocent and looking at life imprisonment and they go down, nobody will make a hoo-ha about that. But a lot of people point fingers at me and other defense lawyers when they feel, and where it doesn't matter about what they feel anyway, but when they feel that somebody is guilty and they've been found not guilty, they start pointing fingers. But everything is a process, and I'm good at my job, I can say that.
Have you ever had like let's say you said a murderer? Have they ever told you in like confidentiality to you, yeah, I've committed this murder, and then you've had to take on that case and obviously try get them off the case, off pleading guilty?
People have told me that they've stabbed people, but that doesn't amount to murder. People have said, yes, I shot the guy, but that still doesn't amount to murder, does it?
Are they a threat though to come back out?
No, I mean, look, let me tell you something. To murder someone, you have to have an intention. To, with malice, a forethought, you have to have an intention to seriously harm them or intention to kill them. Without these two elements being present, you can't be found guilty of murder. So if you now, George, say to me, sorry, what was your name?
Nico.
Nico, sorry,
Don't worry,
Nico,
don't worry,
sorry.
bro, don't worry.
So if you say to me, I stabbed Nico, he died, somebody has died, you've stabbed someone. That piece of evidence is probably agreed in court. Yeah, George stabbed Nico. But okay, what was the intention? Did he have an intention to kill him? Absent that intention, he can't be found guilty. Secondly, you would say, did he have an intention to seriously harm Nico? Now, if your case is that Nico started attacking you, you were on the ground and he kept punching you, you picked up whatever you can find, whether it's a knife, whether it's a glass bottle, whatever it is, and in your defense, you just, hit him with it. Your main thought at the time was to defend yourself. He sadly passes away because it loses so much blood. You're not guilty of murder, but you've said it to me that you stabbed him. So every case is different. I've had people shoot people by accident. Nobody would ever come to me, and nobody has ever come to me till this day and said, I killed this person, I'm glad I killed this person. So a lot of times it's accidental.
What would you do in that situation if someone just fully opened up to you? Yeah, I meant to kill this person, I wanted to kill this person, I killed them.
I mean, in that sort of position, look, you have two ways of dealing with that. The first way would be, you tell the person, look, put your hands up, you plead guilty. Yeah. The second way of dealing with it is, if the person doesn't want to plead guilty, if he doesn't want to go down that road, you tell him this, or you tell her this. It's the prosecution what are bringing the case. The prosecution bring the case. The prosecution have charged you for murder, for example. It's up to the prosecution to prove that case against you. That's how the UK judicial system works. It's not up to the defence. So if a person does not want to plead guilty, the person can be given the option. And that option is, you can have a trial, you put the prosecution to strict proof, which means they have to prove the case against you. You cannot put forth a defence. So you cannot say why you are not guilty. You get it?
Yeah. Okay.
So you put the prosecution to prove, you prove it. I'm not going to say a word. I'm not going to put forward a defence. You prove the case against me.
And how many in the jury have to vote. Is it 12 people in a jury?
There's 12 members of the jury, and a unanimous verdict is when all of them agree, 12 of them. But then after a certain period of deliberation is when the jury's gone out, and they are making their decision. After a certain period of that deliberation, the judge can say to the jury members that you can now retain a majority verdict. A majority verdict will be 10 to 2. Yeah, 10 to 2. So 10 people, for example, say not guilty, 2 say guilty, that person is not guilty. But if there's only 9 people that say not guilty and 3 are saying guilty, then that's what's called a hung jury. It's hung. They are neither guilty nor not guilty. So then the prosecution have 2 choices. The first choice is to drop the case, discontinue the case. The second choice is to ask for a retrial, and then you have a trial again.
But surely that's like a pretty substantial number to say he's not guilty, 9 to 3. Like if only 3 people say, that's pretty flawed, don't you think?
It's flawed, and it's some people like it, some people don't. I mean, would you rather be in front of a panel of jury members who are people like yourself, respected members of the community? They don't have no previous convictions. I think that's one of the requirements. Who are people like you and I? Well, I'm a lawyer. They're not legal professionals who are told to just listen to what's there in front of them and make a decision. Or would you rather be in front of a judge?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, fair. I think jury trials are good, but I mean they are flawed. There's flaws in every system. You can never get anything 100% right.
Okay, so on that, right, what are your thoughts on the whole Conor McGregor case, right? So, and also like this thing that's coming out a lot about like footballers, like see Thomas Partey, Mason Greenwood, and obviously Conor McGregor himself. These situations where, well, Greenwood, he settled out of court, didn't he?
He didn't get found not guilty.
Did
yeah, because
well, did he not set?
No, I think his missus just settled it because they were having a kid together, so that she didn't press charges.
Didn't he pay a mill or something to the dad?
I think there was a fee to the dad. Yeah.
I don't know how. There was another footballer as well, a Liverpool one, I'm sure. I forgot his name.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Arsenal,
probably Van
Thomas
Dijk,
Partey.
mate. Probably Van Dijk.
No. It was a Liverpool. It was definitely a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a Liverpool player.
Trent could have been.
Do you
Trent
guys know?
No, not Liverpool.
No.
It was a Liverpool player,
Is it not Thomas Partey?
Thomas Partey plays for Arsenal.
No, it was a Liverpool
anymore.
player.
Spain now, innit?
Because
Yeah.
it was a Liverpool. I forgot the name now. The reason I know he's a Liverpool player because there's a reason behind it. I know, but it was.
There's a few. There's a few
that look. We deal with a lot of rape cases, and there are people who are falsely accused. And there are I mean, there's been reports in the media where there's been like dash cams that have caught out fake victims. You probably read it. I've read it. Fake victims when they've said that they've been raped or they've been assaulted and whatnot. So, but that doesn't mean they're all fake or they're all making things up. And with Conor McGregor, I don't know. Did he get found not guilty or guilty? He had a civil trial, didn't he?
Civil trial.
It was a civil trial. So I don't know much about how that works. To be fair,
I think the end result for the woman is always money, like a payout.
they get a payout.
That's what they get.
Okay. So
That's kind of where this question is. It's like, do women, for high profile athletes and people like that, just try almost, get a quick bit of money because they've spent a night with them or whatever?
I don't know. I mean, I can't look. And at the same time, you get people who are real victims. So we can't really judge, the whole sort of scenario based on one case.
It's a massive tightrope, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just...
And the thing is, it's a very sensitive subject, for a woman to get raped. And I don't think any woman would just come out and say they've got raped. You know, it must be hard for them to say it as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think money is everything. I don't know. I mean, this is my mindset that it's very sensitive for them to come out and say I've been raped. And then when they do when they go to the police station, I don't know about the civil bit of it, because they, in civil law, they are basically suing that person, aren't they? Saying this person did this to me, some sort of wrongdoing, which in that case would have been rape, isn't it? But in criminal law, it's a bit different, isn't it? Where they have to go to the police, they have to give a statement, and sometimes that statement is video recorded, and they have to go into the events about exactly what happened. So for a woman to go through that, they won't just do it for no reason, you know. But on the other hand, there are cases where people have been found not guilty because the woman contradicted in her statement. So yeah,
I think when it's civil trial, it almost seems like it implicates that it's financially motivated, because why would you not take him to
criminal courts?
Yeah.
And with civil courts, it's balance of probabilities. The burden of proof is on balance of probabilities. In criminal trial, the burden of proof is always on the prosecution, you see. So a civil trial is probably easier to get a verdict in favor of the claimant, the victim.
Okay,
so it's probably easier.
This is a question I really have been wanting to ask you, actually, because obviously, you know, being like doing your job, is there kind of like any limit to who you represent? Like, for example, let's say someone got accused of being a child predator. Would you ever, like, in principle, would you ever like represent someone like that?
Look, I've said this before on other interviews. That's the only sort of case that I try my best to stay away from. Regardless of people having a right to a fair trial, I don't want to be looking through material like that, and I don't want my team to be looking through material like that. Sometimes, you know, it can traumatize you for years. So I try to stay away, you know. But I've had so much requests from people, you know, to who want representation. But we have to judge it by case basis. Another thing, I've turned away cases, for example, when members of far right groups have been racist to people of the same ethnic background. To me, it's just I don't know how would I go to court and represent someone like that. It just wouldn't sit morally right with me. So there are some cases.
Yeah, so it's good. Obviously, you have that sort of like limit to it.
Oh, you have to have a limit. Look, at the end of the day, I'm a strong believer in God, and I know I have to one day go and answer to God. And once it doesn't matter what faith you side with, once you side with a faith, you're generally going to be a better human being. And I'm being honest there, because if you have a proper faith, and if you have fear of God and the love of God, because it's not just about fear, if you have the love of God inside you, you're going to naturally try to be a better person and try to be good to people around you, whoever you meet.
So I just wanted to go back on something that you said at the start. You said, I don't deserve this. Well, how come you think that? Because realistically, you're clearly very good at your job, and you clearly, like, you've been in situations where you've made the most of your opportunities. So that opportunity at uni, you didn't have to take that, right? Also, you could have just got into the course and just dossed around like most people do at uni and just absolutely threw it out the window. So what's kind of like, I just wanted to understand your thought process behind that.
The reason I say that is because there are people out there that work 10 times harder than me, but they don't have what I have, what I've been blessed with. That's why I say, you know, there are people who are working literally day and night to make ends meet, and I'm in a very comfortable position in life. Alhamdulillah, and my children are in a very comfortable position. That's why I say, like, when we came in here, I told you I spent last 5 weeks in Pakistan. I mean, I've seen how people live, and I've seen how people work hard, you know, just to get some bread. That's why I say to myself, you know, we don't deserve it, because why don't others get it?
Yeah,
You know,
true.
why don't
True.
they?
I guess like you're right. You've been like blessed with this opportunity.
You're blessed, and
So obviously you got to take it with both hands.
you got to take it with both hands, and you have to always be grateful. You got to be humble. You got to be nice to people. You know. It's one of the most.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, what they think is someone that is a criminal defense lawyer has zero moral compass and is like objectively a bad person. But clearly, obviously, after speaking to you, it's just a job, isn't it? Like it's just
a job.
do.
And look, no one's gonna sit in a podcast and say they're a bad person.
Yeah,
you know. So did you expect me to come and say
no,
I'm a bad person?
No.
Obviously, I'm gonna try to, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I'm generally a good person. You know, I don't have a chip on my shoulder. God's blessed me. God's been good to me, and I'm just thankful for being in this position I am.
I'm just talking about like people who'd watch this that come into this episode like with a predisposition. Oh, this guy's gonna be this, he's gonna be that, and then
they need to come and sit with me as well.
Yeah, well, understanding someone on a human level as well,
Yeah.
outside of the
We're all
work.
humans, man.
Exactly.
We're all humans. And the thing is this, like you said earlier, I mean, about taking cases on. I mean, at first I used to be scared taking on certain cases because I used to think, people are looking at life imprisonment. But now I've come to that stage that I can't look at every case with my heart. I can't, let my emotions get the better of me. It's like a heart surgeon when he looks at blood and he gets nervous, his hand starts shaking. I wouldn't be giving people that level of service that they deserve. If somebody comes to me, they've trusted me with their life, with their freedom.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to maintain that level, and I have so far been maintaining it.
Good.
You touched on like the far right people coming to you for to represent them. One of the people that's just always in the news at the moment is Tommy Robinson. I just wanted to get your opinion on him, and also if you'd seen the clip of him knocking that guy out in the tube and how that case would be defended.
I mean, I think nothing has happened with that case. I did see a little clip, and I seen a clip of him afterwards saying that he was interviewed under caution, and there was no further action taken against him. That's his. I seen it on one of the social media clips from him, which gives me the impression that there was no further action taken because I think he was attacked first. And he acted in self-defense. If you're attacked first and somebody is in your personal space, even if they don't strike you first, you can strike them first. It's called a preemptive strike. So nobody needs to attack you first for you to act in self-defense, if you get what I mean. And you can also act in defense of another. So if you feel that I'm about to strike Nico, you could protect him and punch me to defend him. So defense of another, a lot of people don't know that as well, and a lot of people don't know that self-defense can exist, and you can hit someone first in self-defense. So that's what he did, I think, and there was no further action taken against him. And in terms of my opinion on him, I've not sat with him. I don't know how he's like as a human being. We can only judge by what we see on social media. When I was contesting election, Tommy had a lot to say about me. I didn't really respond. I think I did respond with a video saying that Tommy is at the behest of the Zionist lobby, and there are reports that is funded by certain Zionist lobbies. And I'm against Zionism, so clearly we can not align in terms of our views, because I am against Zionism and I will forever be against Zionism. Everyone has a right to their opinion, and I'm a lawyer. Everyone has a right to their opinions, and they can express those opinions in any way they want. If they're not doing anything illegal, they can do what they like. In terms of his views, you're probably going to ask me about his views on immigration and all that stuff. See, look, in terms of illegal immigration, I think most people are against that anyway. When people come over from different countries, they've done something in their countries, and now they want refuge here in the United Kingdom. They've done something back in their countries they've done some sort of betrayal with the ruling or governing bodies or whatever they may be. We don't know their full story because there's loads of them. Whoever comes in illegally should be stopped. But people who are here, now for example, I've been here now. It's going to be, my kids are going to be the third generation here. So we've been here. I pay taxes here, and quite respectfully, I pay a lot of taxes, and I pay, taxes worth more than some people's wages. So the people who are here are working hard, who are contributing towards the economy, shouldn't be targeted just because of a few people who have come over on a boat. These people who are coming over, some are actually going through a lot of problems. Some of them are actually coming from the countries that other countries have bombed or have helped bomb. For example, Iraq, our government was heavily involved in the bombardment and the killing of over 1 million people. Afghanistan, and the United Kingdom have to always be involved in wars abroad for some reason, which has been my problem from day one. Why are they involved in wars abroad when young children are going to school hungry here? It doesn't make sense. You have potholes here. The schooling system is on the decline. Child poverty is at 40% in some areas. That's ridiculous. And the United Kingdom is meant to be one of the wealthiest nations in the whole world. The UK need to set their priorities right. If they weren't involved in that much wars abroad, there wouldn't be that much refugees coming in. So Tommy's got his little opinions of refugees and immigrants, but there are some people who are actually suffering, and as human beings, we should care whether that human is Muslim, whether that human is Christian, whether that human is Jewish. We should care for all human races.
I agree. I think what you said is absolutely nailed on. Why people that actually live here and pay taxes and stuff like myself, I'm an immigrant myself, legal, and obviously I pay taxes because I'm Italian, pay taxes, and so do we all here. But I think why people that like us are getting targeted is because ignorance. It's just ignorance. It feeds to the masses. It feeds to people.
I've seen loads of Union Jack flags and St. George's flags going up, and I know some people are doing it just to irritate or offend certain people. For example, because I read something that it's to counter. I think it was the article in the Guardian. Is to counter the Palestine flags that have been going up. And it's to offend certain group of people. If you're going to get offended by a flag, I don't know what you're going to do with yourself. First of all, and people forget that people like yourself, people like me, people like you. I love England. England has given me my career, my work, school, my kids, fed my family. I've changed people's lives back home, where I'm from, in Kashmir, where people are living in very deprived conditions. They're poor out there. So I've changed lives of people, and I wouldn't be able to do it if I wasn't born in the UK. I know. So the UK has given me opportunities like no other country can. So I love England, and people around me love England. But people are putting up flags like it's going to be offensive to me or other people. I love England. I support England.
Yeah, I think we covered.
I don't like the government.
Yeah, they're the biggest criminals.
I don't like the UK government, and that's who I'm against. I'm not against the people of UK, and I wouldn't live anywhere else. I'm always going to live here.
I had a situation when I used to work at First Direct Arena in Leeds. A guy was going into a woman's toilet, right, and people were notifying the security about this, but they weren't actually able to do anything. I want to just know if that is actually a criminal offence if you identify as a woman, but he wasn't actually like a transgender, he was just a straight up guy. I think what he was doing was trying to skip the queue of the male toilet or something.
Well, you think he was probably trying to do that, but there are predators out there. There are predators out there that will take full advantage of these grey areas, these laws that need to be clarified. What would you do if your sister or your wife or your mother was in that toilet when that man who really isn't a woman but claims to be a woman and is allowed to do that? What would you do if your wife or your sister or your mother was in there? What would you do to stop him?
Yeah, it'd get physical for sure. But
you'll have to defend them.
I even tried to defend the women in there. I did grab him and I handed him to the security. I was like,
what would you do in that situation? You have to defend the women.
Yeah, of course, it's your
because
duty.
It's your duty. You got to defend the women. So if I see that happening, I will have to defend the women.
But so is it a criminal offence at this moment?
Voyeurism and going into other people's bathroom, going into women's bathroom for a man is a criminal offence. It is. Yeah. But like I said, these grey areas need to be sorted because it doesn't take that much effort for someone to be identified as a woman, and there has to be some sort of legal documentation or something like that they need to carry or something like that. Because a lot of people are just, using this. Predators are using this. There's been loads of reports to do this. They go into women's bathrooms. They make videos, to fulfill their own fantasies. So it needs to be looked into.
So right now, they need to add it.
I just feel like what you're saying there as well. Like the problem is that it just absolutely ruins it for people that actually do identify as women and can legally go into those bathrooms. There's always going to be a group of people which unfortunately is it usually is a minority.
They take advantage of it.
Given the fact that it's so social media driven, the world, that's what we see. We don't see a normal person who identifies as a woman going into the toilet, because that's nothing to post about or write about. So that's obviously that, and then it just ruins it for the people who actually are eligible and need to actually eligible.
Like I said during my campaign, everybody was thinking that, I don't know, people have this narrative of me that I'm against certain things. For example, I'm against the UK. I'm not against the UK. I'm against the UK government. Okay, their politics, I don't like it. The rich are getting richer whilst the poor are getting poorer. I like the kind of politics that the rich should get taxed more and should be given to the poor. They deserve it. They need it more. You have the government trying to cut off 2-child benefits. You have the government, what they did in winter with the winter fuel payments for pensioners. You have kids, or you have parents rather, who have to choose from whether to provide heating for their kids or give them a warm meal. These kind of choices in the United Kingdom, I'm against the UK government in terms of the trans community or the LGBT community. I'm not against them. They could do what they like. But again, they shouldn't be teaching young children about all this stuff in primary school or in schools. They should be given a choice. Parents should be given a choice of what their child should be taught, because you've kept that child as a mother in your womb for 9 months. As a father, you've been looking forward to the birth of that child. You've been looking forward to, you've got dreams for that child. You should be given full responsibility for that child. The parents should, and what they're taught in school. You can't, we send our kids to school, for example, for 8 hours a day. Would you be able to sit with that school teacher for 8 hours? Yet you send your kid away without knowing what they're being taught for 8 hours in a school. You probably won't even sit with 8 minutes with that teacher, because you'll think what they're talking about. So parents need to have that direct responsibility for their children, and if they don't like the way they're being taught in school, then take them out of school. Put that burden upon yourself. Teach your child yourself what's right, what's wrong. Otherwise, this system and the streets will bring them up, and then what was the point? What was the point of you having children? They're gonna all go down the wrong path, and it's gonna be bad for them.
I feel like they're too young to be learning about certain things, like transgender stuff. They're like a sponge as a kid. You take it all in, and then you just
disgusting. It's bad. They're not meant to be. They're meant to be getting taught about sports, about how to defend themselves, about how to be strong. Even females, they should be taught that kind of stuff. I'm a strong believer of that. Instead of teaching them about that stuff, why don't you teach them how to be strong, how to defend themselves? They should do boxing classes or some sort of mixed martial arts classes in schools. I think that's the way forward to get kids a bit more disciplined.
Yeah, definitely. If I have a kid, they're definitely going straight into a mixed martial art.
You have to.
The discipline that you'll learn from that and the respect you'll have to other people will just be on top of anything you could even learn in school.
Exactly. You can't teach good etiquette and good manners nowadays. It's very hard. But martial arts does that for you.
Yeah. Just going on a slightly different topic. I saw you talking about misinterpretation of messages. So obviously, I'm just gonna create a scenario here. I'm a criminal. Yeah, Nico's told me we're going to paint a house, which obviously in criminal words means like you're going to shoot up a house. You mentioned that would be able to, let's say they presented that as the evidence in court. We've shot up a house, right?
I'll tell you hypothetically speaking, yeah. I'll tell you, I did a case, yeah. I've spoken about this case as well. It's a few years ago. And the case was a possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, a conspiracy. And the second charge was a conspiracy to a conspiracy to commit arson. And like you just mentioned, I think you probably got it from one of my clips. I don't know. Yeah. Because you just mentioned it. So it was mentioned in that case, painting houses, and the prosecution were interpreting that in a totally different manner. They were saying that it was to do with actually shooting up houses. There's a movie, it's called The Irishman, I think, from Robert De Niro's in there, very good. He paints houses, but in that movie it's to do with blood being on the wall once he shot someone. But in this case, our guy, we did present him as a proper painter, and it was and the other charge was of arson, and they said that he's speaking about a barbecue, and they thought, or they presented that to be the arson or the petrol bombing of the house, but we managed to explain properly that this was actually misinterpreted. And if you put this into context, there was a family barbecue that took place, and there was refurbishment that took place. So what happens is, the way I say and the way the judicial system operates is, I'll give you an example. So the way I look at it, there's only a little bit of water left in there, but it has to be crystal clear. The prosecution case has to be crystal clear, and it's their job to present that to the jury members. The defense job is not to turn that water into a different color, but simply muddy that water. That's what I say. It's that shade of grey that is unexplainable, or the prosecution can't prove. Usually it's that what results in an acquittal for the defense.
Okay. So when do you think someone should enter a plea deal, for example? Like, when is the time that you got to, mate, just...
Look, sometimes you have to limit the damages, and sometimes the evidence is overwhelming in cases, and I've had cases that the evidence is overwhelming, and I've told the defendant that, look, you would rather plead guilty, and a plea deal that you're saying is something that a basis of plea, for example, that you can put forward to the prosecution, where you're saying that, yes, I am guilty, but not everything that the prosecution are saying I'm guilty of. For example, a drugs conspiracy. I've had people plead guilty where they've been charged, for example, with Class A and B, but we put forward a deal and said, look, You've charged him for the Class A, but he's not guilty of the Class A. Okay, so he's only guilty of the Class B. We've had deals like that. We've had deals where the prosecution have charged for example, 100 kilos, but we've said no, we've only been responsible to sell 10 or 15. All the rest were others, like that. So there are sometimes our job is to limit the damages, even though there is a defense for every offense, but sometimes we have to limit the damages.
Speaking of like the drug dealers and stuff, do you see a lot more case files coming on your table that are to do with EncroChat? Obviously, the hacking.
Loads. I had loads when it first was broken into, but people kind of got complacent. Some people left the United Kingdom and thought it's all over because nothing's been mentioned for a couple of years. As soon as they come back to the United Kingdom, they got arrested again. So the cases are still ongoing. I did get a huge influx of cases when it first appeared. And we're still doing them on a regular basis, and we regularly get acquittals, we regularly get not guilty pleas. A lot of people put forward a defense of multiple users, even though they could prove the prosecution in some cases that you may have used the device, but can they prove that you've sent every message? No, it's hard. So we're still fighting.
And that was an illegal hack, right, from the police?
We don't know. We say it was. The defense say it was, and there was a number of cases that did go in, but they were all refused. So as it stands, it's not illegal. It's okay. The interception. What it was in the United Kingdom, live interception is not allowed. Live interception. So I can't listen to your phone call live or your messages live, if you get what I mean. Recorded is okay. But the way the National Crime Agency got around that is it didn't happen in the United Kingdom. It happened in France.
Yeah. And what point is that an invasion of your day-to-day privacy as well?
I mean, like I say, it's not every encro handler is a criminal. A lot of criminal activities took place on the encrypted phones, but not every person that owns an encro is a criminal. Having an encrypted device, it's not illegal. So look, a lot of people who are not involved in criminal activities have had their privacy evaded, but it is what it is. We live in the United Kingdom, don't we?
Sorry, there you go.
How exposed are we day to day now? Let's say just us guys, are we getting watched constantly?
Don't bait us out, bro. Don't bait us out.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, the way I see is never make a phone call which you don't expect another person to listen to, and never send a message which you don't want read by anyone else or read out in a courtroom later on. So people have to be careful themselves. You have to watch your own back. The way I'm very private with my phone, not because I'm involved in a sort of criminal activity, because I've got private stuff on there. I've got my memories on there, my family's pictures, my work stuff. It's a very confidential device, so I'm always very private as to how I send messages and how I talk on the phone. So you should be careful, and them two things, do not forget it. Don't say anything on the phone that you wouldn't want anyone else to listen to, and don't send a message that you wouldn't want read by someone else.
Okay.
Keep it simple and simple stuff.
What do you think was your proudest day as a solicitor? What was
my favorite case?
All that, as well.
A lot of my cases now are televised, and they receive a lot of press. They do, but my favorite case was in 2018. It was a massive case of a conspiracy to possess a firearm with intent to endanger life, where there was 9 people on the case and only one person was found not guilty, and that was my client. It was a case where some people were locked up inside prison, and they had a conspiracy to shoot someone. My client was seen at doing a recce of the scene of crime, and my client was said or alleged to be sort of the main guy on the outside the shot caller on the outside, where the people who actually planned it were inside prison, and the actual fight or the actual disagreement that took place was inside their prison, and then one of the people came outside, so they decided, or allegedly decided, to shoot up this person's house. My client was found not guilty, and I'll quickly touch on it. I mean, I don't like to blow my own trumpet, but if it wasn't for me, then that man would have been doing over 20 years inside. In that case, what happened was we requested. See, the mobile phone can either make you or break you in a criminal case. I say all the time, and it's when people say, "Oh, somebody snitched on me, somebody informed on me." No, it was your mobile phone, son. So look after it. I represented this gentleman, and we pleaded not guilty, of course. And what I wanted to get was my client's phone, the download of his mobile phone, rather. Prosecution wasn't giving it to me. Anyway, the trial's now listed for Monday, for example. These guys give me the phone on a Thursday. They thought I'm going to just put it away and not look into it, okay? But we looked into it. I put a couple of staff members on it. I've called thousands of pages. I'm talking thousands of pages. I've called the client in. I said, here, we need to look through your phone. Once we looked at the phone, we realized that on the day where he was seen to go to the scene of crime and do sort of a scope out of it, he actually had a football game planned. We only find out that from his WhatsApp. There's a group, a football group. On that football group, he had a football game planned, and it only got cancelled because the pitch was waterlogged. And all the evidence is on there. So I said to him, I said, listen, you wasn't even meant to be there, was you? Because you're meant to be at football. He said, yes. How do you know? I go, look at your text message. Then it all came back to him. He said, yes, I was meant to go to football. The pitch was waterlogged. So if the pitch wasn't waterlogged, you would have been playing football at the time that they went to the scene of crime. So yes, you were there by chance and not choice. So if it wasn't raining, you would be playing football. There's no mindset there of going and shooting up a place. You get it? A couple of days before that, or another significant event that took place during the case, he was in Ireland with his girlfriend enjoying himself. Another picture, he's going to the Villa game to watch the game with his nephew. So all this, takes you away from having that killer mindset, from conspiring to shoot up people's houses. It just gives a different perspective. So that phone in that case saved him. He would have been in 20 years in prison. And he found me as a lawyer, which, alhamdulillah, he found me as a lawyer, and I'm not lazy. So I went through that phone, we went through, found, and he got found not guilty after 8-week trial.
Would most lawyers actually just dismiss that phone and,
They wouldn't look into it.
even though someone's life's at stake there, 20 years
Brother, people don't care. I'm telling you straight. I've seen it happen. Even recently, I did a murder case. Recently, and the murder took place back in 2017 or 2018, if I'm not mistaken. Could be 2019. Anyway, my client went away. He left the country. He came back, and we spoke to the prosecution before the trial. And the case has come to a conclusion. There's been a number of people convicted on the case, none for murder, all for manslaughter, because of the circumstances of the offence. I don't want to go too much into it, but a lot of people are convicted of manslaughter. So I spoke to my client, and my client said that, can you speak to the prosecution? See if they can offer, because he's charged with murder, see if they can offer me a deal for manslaughter. I said, okay, no problem. I spoke to them, they offered it, I took it. Another lawyer spoke to one of my staff members and said, what would you do that for? We said, we got a good deal. The sentence is capped. With murder, there's no cap, is there? You're spending your whole life in prison. So, and the lawyer said, I would have made him have a trial. I would have made him have a full trial on murder. Whereas then my staff member came back and told me this and said, look, this person wouldn't care if he's looking at 25 years in prison and never able to see daylight again. Whereas I've seen it, I spoke to the prosecution, they've capped it at 8 years. He's going to be out in 4.5, because he's already had spent some time in remand by now. This only happened recently, and it goes back to your question. Some people don't care. Some people do not care. Genuinely, they do not care because it's not their son or their nephew or their friend or their cousin. They don't care. So I've got this, gift from God, which is the gift of a good heart. Not many people have it, unfortunately, in this day and age, bro. I'll be honest with you.
I'm surprised by that. Like, as a lawyer, like, there's no moral compass to a lot of the people that represent these people.
They don't care, brother. They do not care. There's been, I don't have much lawyer friends. There've been instances where I've heard people laughing and joking about people getting 25 years in prison. They've said that what we do is when the jury goes out, we make, after they've got found guilty, whoever gets the sentence right, for example, if Nico says the guy's going to get 20, if you say he's going to get 20, whoever gets it right, or I don't know, that whoever gets it wrong or whatnot, they have to pay for lunch or something like that. And I was just there thinking, these are my early days, and I thought, no, I can't be around these people, man. I can't be around these people.
And they're still taking the paycheck.
Yeah, man, they get paid big money, and it's unfair on people.
That's heavy.
For like a,
Look, I'll give you a quick example of the way I operate, and I don't like blowing my own trumpet. This is in our WhatsApp group a couple of days ago, where I'm saying, I can't show you the full thingy because it's confidential, but and this is me, and I've had my firm for years now, and I'm successful, alhamdulillah. I've got one of the busiest practices in the country, and I'm saying this, look, because a client contacted me because they couldn't get hold of a staff member, and I said, sad, someone is looking at 20 years in prison and has to chase his lawyers, So I'm having an issue when they don't answer people's phone calls, my staff members. The least we can do is keep in contact. I'm saying this to my staff members. Can you ring him, please? This is unfair and shouldn't happen. It's unfair that he should be chasing us. We should be chasing him. He's putting money on our table. He's putting food on our table. He's trusted us with his life. So that's the way I operate. I've got a good, clean heart, and I don't need to answer to anyone else. I know I've got to answer to God. So when you have to answer to God, a lot of humans, you don't really take notice of them. You just carry on in your own lane.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big indicator of obviously, you honouring your job and being a respectable person and having to obviously you do what you do and you do it in the best way possible. I just wanted to kind of close it off on. There was one question that we wanted to really ask. I'm not sure if you remember it.
Go on, I don't know.
So basically, right, when you're talking about like being a defense lawyer, obviously the success that is brought to you is massive. So that you can share, what was, and I'm going to give you two different ways to answer this, because maybe one is too much and the other one just makes it better. What was your biggest paycheck like, or maybe you don't want to answer that, or what was like something that you were like okay, this is I've made it here, I'm doing very well for myself. Like, what was something that you did that made you kind of aware of that? I'll probably get no answer to either of the questions here.
Forget about the paycheck. I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I don't. It's when a mother. Now I'll probably sound, this probably don't sound true, but it's just the truth. When a mother genuinely calls me and says, you know what, I'm praying for you for what you did for my son, or what you did for whoever I did it for. That feeling, you can't beat it. So, and that's happened on a number of occasions. Just recently, where a mother phoned me and she's crying on the phone, saying, "You don't know how much I pray for you. May God make you more successful." So, it's that that feeling, and the feeling of that actual feeling when the jury come back and say not guilty, and how many people are going to praying for you now? That feeling is unbeatable, man.
Yeah.
It's unbeatable.
No monetary value.
Yeah, no monetary value, man.
Yeah.
Money wise, I'm good now. I don't even need to work.
Yeah.
Which is the truth. I don't need to work, but I work every day because I've got people to look after. Not people as in look after, feed my family. They're well fed. I mean, other people who are going through all these problems. So that's what I got into politics as well.
Yeah.
So.
That as well. What's the goal there? Where do you want to take it?
I want to basically, for Birmingham, I want to see people properly represented for my city, because I feel that we are neglected. We are the second city, we're meant to be the second city in the United Kingdom. We are the heart of the United Kingdom, but we're very, very neglected, especially the inner city areas. A quick example, you phone the ambulance from Alam Rock, for example, they'll take 2-3 hours to come. If I phone the ambulance from my postcode where I live, they'll be here in 10 minutes. Total neglect of the inner city areas of Birmingham, which again, it's not my problem. I don't need to be worried about it. I've gone out of there. I don't live there anymore. But I see the failure of our youth. And I'm trying to do something for them, man. And I'm trying to show people that we can stand up to these political elites. It's not, their God-given right just to carry on governing us, and no one to question them, no one to put them to account, no one to hold them to account. When I stood election, I got 69,000 votes. These people spent millions on their campaigns after that. They've never had to do that for years. And the seat that I stood in my constituency in Ladywood, that's been a safe seat for the Labour Party since the Second World War. They've never had to campaign in that place. Now, because of Akhmed Yakoob, Labour have to campaign in Birmingham. They've never had to do that before. So whether I make a change or not, I know I've inspired people. I've gone outside schools and campaigned, gone outside colleges and campaigned, gone outside universities and campaigned. Those people, the youth, are going to come, and there's going to be a proper, rise in people challenging these political elites and challenging the establishment. A lot of people are just, living, but there needs to be more people out there that come and challenge the establishment. That's all I want to do. Try to do something, leave a bit of a legacy, so people can say this guy came, his name is Akhmed Yakoob, he's done all right for us.
Vote Akhmed Yakoob.
Yeah.
Vote him.
Wow,
yeah, damn, that's a seriously like that's a mad side quest. That is, you completed being a lawyer.
Well, that's what it is, and that's what they can't take. It's a side quest. These guys pay their mortgages off these checks that they receive from politics. If you go back and look at my videos, one of my main agendas or my main points were that I'm not going to take a salary. I don't want that salary. You need to put that salary back into a charity of my choice. And it's a side quest. That's what they can't take.
Yeah.
We do it for fun.
Yeah.
We do it for fun, and we still give them a run for their money.
No, well done.
They do it for a living, man. They pay their mortgages with this kind of stuff.
Fair play.
100%.
Well, we'll see you soon. We'll see you soon, standing there in Parliament.
Oh yeah.
Soon.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much for being on.
Thank you for having me, man.
It was a great episode.
Thank you for having
me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'll catch you in the next one.
See you in a bit, guys.
There's a defense for every offense. Remember that.
Sign off for that.
Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.